There's a fantasy that most people who want to lose weight all share. And no. It's not that type of fantasy. It's actually a very common and mundane fantasy. We all have this fantasy that it's possible to find the perfect diet that will miraculously help us lose weight without even thinking about it. Everyone's felt this at one time or another, and everyone wishes we had the perfect way to lose weight easily and effortlessly, where you can eat any food you want without getting fat and your metabolism becomes so fast that you can outrun a cheetah in a foot race. But then what happens? We eat a meal that we didn't necessarily mean to, and then we realize how unrealistic this is, and then we're right back to square one. There are so many pitfalls to getting in shape, but none are more insidious than our own psychology. So in today's video, I will share with you the psychology around why you can't stick to a diet, and also give you a couple of hidden and sneaky tools to help you overcome the mental barrier of losing weight. The first psychological barrier is having this all or nothing mentality. So many dieters, many people engage in this black and white thinking around food. They either see themselves as on the diet or off the diet. They start to label foods as either good or bad. And when people inevitably can't stick to the diet because of these unrealistic expectations, they see themselves as failures. And this mindset can lead to feelings of guilt and shame and just start a vicious cycle of emotional eating. Which leads me to psychological barrier number 2, which is eating your emotions. This is what I would consider to be one of the biggest mental reasons why people can't seem to keep the weight off. And the reason is simple, because many people use food to cope with emotions like stress, anxiety, boredom, or even depression. And what they're not realizing is that when they numb these emotions are just gonna come back even stronger. And you haven't even done the most important thing, which is get to the root of why you are actually feeling that emotion and why you react in a certain way, specifically around food or drinking. Now, the next one is what I see about 80% of dieters having to deal with, which is the deprivation mindset. So diets that remove entire food groups or eat super low calories can create the sense of deprivation. And this can lead to feelings of intense cravings and even a mental obsession with the foods they're trying to avoid in the first place. This ends up creating resentment, not only towards the diet, but also towards the person who is dieting. Now, psychological barrier number 4 is what I call having a lack of intrinsic motivation. So when you diet for external reasons, whether it's to look good in front of others or because you think that's what society expects you to do, you are going to be less likely to stick with the diet in the long term. You need to have a strong why, a strong anchor, in order to bear anyhow, which leads me to the next psychological barrier, which is having unrealistic expectations. So people who lose weight are just way too ambitious with their goals and also the speed to achieve them. When these expectations are not met, it can lead to discouragement and a massive loss of motivation. Now, the second last psychological barrier is a very poisonous one, which is having a poor body image. Having a lack of self-esteem creates this destructive cycle. So you're dieting to improve your body image. When things go wrong or you don't feel like you got the result that you should have got for the effort that you put in, you end up feeling like this isn't working and you feel like a failure. And you end up eating your emotions just to not deal with the pain. And after all that's done, you go right back to number 1. And people will keep on doing this vicious mental cycle until they figure it out or just give up altogether. And the final psychological barrier is going to be your social group and your environment. So environment is the hidden hand that dictates your results. And when it comes to your social group, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. And this goes for your eating habits and your drinking habits especially. And also, food temptation is a real thing. If you have foods that have you veer off course or that cause you to be a little bit uncontrollable, like in my case, that's like ketchup chips, then you are most likely going to eat them if they are in your face all the time. Now, when you look at these barriers, I want you to just note which ones are the ones that you suffer from the most. And for a lot of people, what's going to happen is you're going to find that there are a couple of things that you deal with on a regular basis mentally. And I want you to note those things down because sunlight is the best disinfectant and also awareness is the precursor to change. Now, based on what you struggled with and the things that you brought awareness around, we're going to be using this next list to overcome your biggest mental hurdles when it comes to weight loss. So the very first step is like set a longer time horizon for your body. The goal you're after is sustainable weight loss, and the key to sustainable weight loss is not speed, it's direction. So give yourself a long time horizon and make sure that you are giving yourself permission to make mistakes. In my experience, it takes around 4 to 6 to even sometimes 8 months to lose the weight depending on how much you have to lose. And it takes about 1 to 1.5 years to really create the identity and lifestyle around it. And then when you give yourself enough time, this takes the pressure off of you and it allows you to focus in on the long game. Now, tool number 2 is to really just focus in on small, gradual, and sustainable changes over drastic restrictions. Do not look for fast results. Please don't, because the faster you try to lose weight, the faster it's gonna come back on. Instead, you want to choose options that allow you to eat and drink in a way that you love, within moderation, of course. And you want to eat in a way where you can see yourself doing it over the course of your lifetime. So if you can't see yourself giving up carbs for the rest of your life, don't give up carbs. If you can't see yourself just eating meat for the rest of your life, then don't just eat meat. You want to always tie in your long-term preferences to the results that you are trying to create. And when you meld both of these things together, that creates the holy grail of the perfect diet that you're looking for. Now, the next tool is for anyone who deals with emotional eating. And the best tool that I've found for this is either one of two things, either journaling or getting a professional therapist. And the biggest reason why you want to do this is because you want to get to the root of why you eat to numb these certain emotions. You also want to find out when these things occur. You want to find out where these things came from in the first place. What allowed this to happen? Like I said before, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Awareness is the precursor to change. So you want to be aware of why you are eating your emotions, and then that's where the healing begins. Now, tool number 4 is going to be practicing mindful eating. So next time you're in front of a meal, get your phone away, stop looking at screens, get all forms of distraction away so you can get really in touch with your hunger cues. You can get in touch with your appetite cues. And again, this breeds awareness, and this is not just awareness around your emotions, it's actually awareness around your body and how it reacts to certain foods. Tool number 5 is to find your anchor. You want to get clear on your why, as this will be your mental fuel on your journey to get healthy. Sure, you want to look great in front of others. We all do. But why specifically do you want this? What does it matter to you? And you want to get super clear on that. And once you do, you are going to be motivated if and when shit hits the fan. The next tool is something that I struggled with for a very long time, and that's just to be grateful for your body and what it can do. Instead of criticizing your body for what it's not, try appreciating it for what it's doing for you right now. When I talk to clients, the first things that come out of their mouths about their body is, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this. Well, guess what? If you really focus in on the things that you don't like, you're just attracting more of those things into your life. And this is something really cool that I did for myself, because I truly believe that the more that you are grateful about a specific thing, the more that you build appreciation for it. So every single day, especially if you deal with having low self-esteem and negative body image, what I want you to do is I want you to write out 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for when it comes to your body. This will help you amplify your appreciation for the vehicle that you're taking yourself through life with. And then I also did this video on the mental gym concept, which I used to really change the way I looked at myself, including how I shifted my self-image. And the video's right over here if you want to check it out. And finally, you want to take a hard look at your environment and your social network. When it comes to your environment, you want to remove any and all things that can create food temptation. And next, what I want you to do is I want you to get a clear list of the people that influence the bad health behaviors in you. And I also want you to make a list of the ideal friend that you would want who exhibits the behaviors that you want to incorporate in your life. And here's one last bonus one. No one does this thing alone, and yes, you're watching videos, that's awesome, but I really do believe in getting a coach or getting some form of accountability. And if you want to see what that looks like for you, then just click the link in the description. Now, you have to understand that you must change your mind if you want to change the body. There are so many factors that influence your psychology, especially when it comes to dieting. And chances are, if you are struggling with sticking to a diet, you're probably dealing with more than one of these. And if that's the case, I just want to let you know it doesn't represent a moral failure on your part. This is actually a part of being human in the modern world. So as you went through this list, I want you to comment down below which one stood out to you the most. Let's build some accountability around this and the things that you intend to work on. So understand that we're all imperfect and we're all unfinished projects, but understand that we can also improve as well. And I know that changing your mind is one of the best and most effective ways to change your body. And I did a video on that. I did a video on the mental gym that I use to transform my body and develop this self-image of being someone who gets to work out, who loves eating healthy, and to be able to switch my beliefs around those things. So if that's something that you want to do, then check out this video. I'll see you over there.